Humphrey Williams is here, International Helper, member of the Palo Alto, California Subud group. And Humphrey, it's been a 27-year journey to get to the point where we are today. Can you talk a little bit about some of what's gone in to that, nearly 3-decade effort?
Well, as an international helper, when we were all in at the World Congress, we tested what our roles should be, and it was really strange for me because as soon as I started to test, I got the sense that, oh yeah, I'm going to be the archive guy, and I was kind of a little bit, reluctant about it because it sounds so bureaucratic. Anyway, I started going to the subcommittee meetings, the WSA subcommittee meetings on archives, and they were talking about building a facility in Australia, and they had funds, and they were investigating what it would take to build, and so on. And I was on this series of committee meetings, and I would be talking to our archivist Daniela Moneto now and then, and just sort of figuring out, what was going on. And there were some frustrations. First of all, there were some difficulties because there were 2 or 3 US people on the subcommittee, and they didn't really feel involved with what was happening in Australia. It was sort of far away from them, and they didn't really know anybody there, and they didn't know how to help. So we started talking and decided to look in the US. I mean, there are a lot of Subud groups in the US that we thought might have room for an archive center. So we just started talking about that, and then Matthew Clark and started looking around for a place and so on. And then eventually, after some time passed, we found the Amani Center, and that was kind of how the whole thing started up. Some of the most significant things for me was when we actually tested. We tested about what was the significance of the archives for Subud, and then we tested it again. What was the significance of the archives for mankind, for humanity? And those were very, very strong receivings for me, and completely transformed my idea about what this was all about. And I suddenly got the thing. It was really a big thing to be working on this and to try and make something happen. So that was kind of the start.
What is the significance? Don't leave us hanging like that. You had testing results, and
well, it's a question you're going to have to test for yourself. But it was. It's been expressed by various people who've done the test, but it was, in the future, Subud members are going to be able to look back and say, well, how did it all get started? What happened? What was it like? And at the time of that receiving, it became clear that there's quite a number of us that are still alive who went to Bapak talks and can tell the story about what it was like to be there. And that's something that folks in the future are not going to be able to experience directly. And so by the fact that we can tell those stories, which is kind of like the history of the start of Subud, as well as have all the Bapak talks and so on, then there's some possibility that they would be able to connect with the essence of what Subud is. And then for humanity, it was kind of, we're going on a crazy journey and we don't know where this is going. And it's nice to have this grounded connection to spirituality, to inner life, that's going to survive all the absurd outer struggles that humanity is going to have. And I just, I can see people on spaceships and going wherever they're going, Mars or into the asteroid belt or whatever, and they're going to have an inner life. And so there's no reason why, this should be there all the way through. So it was kind of the intensity of that, which I hadn't really expected, which basically, fueled our energy and enthusiasm collectively to go and get something done and to get an archive center built.
Did it renew your hope that Subud, despite its aging demographics and dwindling numbers, is going to survive?
Yeah, I think it's going to survive. It's funny, we have a mixture of people who feel like we're on the edge of an expansion, and the people who feel that we're on an edge of collapse. And it doesn't really matter for me. It's like I'm making progress and feeling and growing. And I'm surrounded by many other people that are working together in harmony and that are growing. And that's just good. And that's all that matters. It's sort of like the here and now and taking it forward.
Humphrey, thanks for all your good work and thanks for your time today.
Yeah, pleasure.